going on. So NBA owner Mark Cuban says he would take knees with Dallas Mavericks players. He just been saying it exclusively recently. This is the same Mark Cuban that a few years ago didn't understand what was going on with Trayvon Martin, and he was sounding more like Jerry Jones about he expected to put his hand over his heart and do the national anthem. But now he apparently had a change of heart since George Floyd. And I bring this up to show you the hypocrisy of these owners. Now, Mark Cuban is kind of like a wild card maverick dude in some ways, but he was very white in a lot of other ways. And I say this because while he tries to be like a player's uh, owner, the hypocrisy is real too. You know, you can't have it both ways, but I just call out the contradictions with some of these cats, how they, how they use George Floyd's death and other situations with the black community to try to sound like they really are touching and reaching. If Mark Cuban wanted to really impress me, he would pay his players not to play during the so-called joke of a season. You can't really have that kind of situation where you are going to be political and then yet, you know, bring those sort of things. You have to be one way or the other with it. So I've had an issue with you know, what he's trying to present. And I have to call him out on that, you know. So it's a very funky situation. First of all, Adam Silver and the NBA is full of it. They don't need to stand for the national anthem. They owe my dude Raul an apology. Former Chris Jackson used to play for the Denver Nuggets. Look him up. He didn't stand for the anthem back in the 90s, late 90s, and David Stern ran him out the league. Pre-calling Kaepernick. Look it up. Craig Hodges, too. The NBA has had racial issues within black folks. You only have had one black owner, Michael Jordan. And you don't have many black general managers. I don't think the NBA is that progressive. I don't think none of pro sports is progressive. And the NBA sure ain't progressive because this shouldn't even be a matter. It should be like, look, we are not going to stand for it. It's a racist anthem we have to protect, and we have to take care of what we are. It's just another plantation that I'm Silver Run. So, Mark Cuban, you're either going to make a stance or you're going to tap dance. But you can't sit there and say, well, we're going to do it, and then looking for Adam Silver to hold your hand. It's not how it works. Anyway, that's my thoughts and takes about Mark Cuban trying to sound like trying to act like he's going to go over his players, like he's understanding what's going on, but he kind of flip-flop. We have to see how it play out, but I don't trust none of them. Trust none of the white owners in the NBA. None of them. Because they use anything to sell the bag to look away, but they're not really about the players beyond the court. Hit that like and subscribe to the bell rings new video. Watch Shansky Mind Club. Watch out for one another. And you got to hold them all accountable. You do. I'm out.